we need only our color, and maybe this time we're going to add some slightly height in here. So let's see, 0.1, maybe it's looking better if we have some dirt height information, but let's add a black mask. And we only need it in here, so let's choose this as our spot. So we're going to add a smart mask, the same mask as always. We're going to add the dirt layer, the dirt smart mask, just drag and drop it in here. And we have just to adjust the textures, deactivate the tree planar, and now we can play with some settings here. So 0.1 on the height is way too much, so we don't need that, but we are going to just play more with our settings now. Alright, we are good so far, and I think it's a good yeah, dirt in here, good amount of dirt. So we have just to select this area in here as only dirt area. So we have just a mask here, so we need to use another one. Add a folder. I'm going to call it dirt. So we know what's going on here, just drag and drop it in here, add a black mask, and you can mask it from the rest of the object. Alright, so we can, or maybe we are going to just drag and drop the whole thing in here, so we can just copy and put it on another layer. So we can call it wood barricade. And go to the other layers, so maybe the, let's see if it's the 3, and do the same thing we have done earlier. And obviously we have here the same problem, so yeah, just do the same thing. So the same thing I would just want on this door here, so I'm going to jump in here. Perfect. Let's see what else we need. We need here this framing, but we have still one here, that's good. So up here is going something really wrong. Which material layer is driving this? That's that one. And now we have just to see which one is just causing this problem. Alright, something is doing here a little bit of a problem. I think I found the error, so maybe I'm going to just rework later on this area. I don't like it really with this color going on. So maybe we can just delete that. Let's try. Going to delete just this area. We're going to use just the bare wood. So we are going to rework it later on, but for now I'm going to just work with this. For now we are going just to make the overall color here, and I just found here another error. It's driving from this wood frame, and let's see. Alright, let's just jump to the reference pick, and we have here some kind of red color going on with peeling and a lot of dirt. So we have down here this dirt layer, this bright dirt layer, then we have some black spots in here, and on top we have our red original color. So we're going to use maybe the same peeling effect we have just done earlier. Alright, let's see how we can create this type of details in here. So this peeling effect, just a reminder, we have here, just a second, where is it? We have here our reference pick, and I'm going to match maybe some areas here. So we have our main color going on here, a lot of dark spots with some edges that would be red, I think. And down here we have a layer of dirt or mud going on. So let's create that. Alright, to begin with, we are going just to add our basic layer. So that would be our wood. So we have this wood fibers going on. I'm going just with the tiling to 4, and we have to go down with the height here. That's too much. So go down to the technical parameters and go down with the height position and maybe the normal intensity, so we can make it a little bit more flat in here. So it's changing something, I really don't see it. Okay, it's changing nothing, so go down with the height position. Good, maybe with the tiling a little bit more, so we have more details in here. If you want to, you can just go a little bit with the settings here. So the cracks and the knots, intensity, veins density, and so on. And just bring some variation in here. So wood color, what's doing that? Oh, cool. It's going in this color. Okay. Alright, so maybe a little bit more of that veins. So let's see. Actually, I'm trying just to bring some nice detail that's not too much of, that's not popping out too much. And I think I stay with that. That's looking good so far. Alright, let's try to match the color. So to do that, I'm just going to put this reference here and the substance painter on the other side. So we can go to a fill layer, adding a new fill layer. I'm going to call this overall color. This I'm going to call base. Yeah, base, just base, that's enough. So the overall color in here, we just need our color information. So just add the color and deselect the rest. And under the color, go to this eyedropper tool, and then you can just choose the right color in here. So maybe this dark red. And a little bit more in the brighter area. And this should be good here. Alright, so now we can just start with our peeling effect. So we are going to add, first of all, on the overall color, just a black mask. So we can add here some sort of smart mask just to have a little bit of difference in here. So let's see, maybe some grunge map. Some grunge paint. Let's see if we have some paint effect in here. Leaky paint, grunge brush dust. Peeled, grunge paint peeled. Let's try this. So just drag and drop it in here. And then you have these spots. And we have to play a little bit with our settings, so it's a little bit too small, the area. So as you can see, if you go up, you can just go with that a little bit more. Maybe the contrast, no, go down with the contrast better. And maybe the tiling to 4, so we have a little bit more of detail in here. And let's see what else. So let's just invert that, because I just want the color up here and some spots that going away. That's good so far, I think. If you don't like it, you can go a little bit down. So I have a little bit more of the spots. But if you just see the reference pick, you have a little bit of color going away. So it's up to you if you want it in that way or only a little bit. So it's completely up to you. So I'm going with the contrast higher, so we have this really sharp edges here going on. And you can go up with the tiling amount if you want to, but I say with that. Alright, so we have now our spots to add the peeling. To add them, it's very easy. We have only to add on this overall color an anchor point. So add anchor point, now we can just reference it up. So the anchor point works with the things on the bottom of the anchor point. So actually it's referencing to this grunge paint, so this area here, that is what we want. And we can now build our effect on top of that. So to do that, add on top a fill layer. So we have a new layer. I'm going to call this paint peeling. On this layer we need our height, so deactivate the rest, because we are going to pop this area a little bit out. So to do that, just go slightly up with the height amount, so 0.1 for now, add a black mask, and in here we have to add a fill layer. With the fill layer we have just to reference to our anchor point, and you see we are going with the color up, but it's way too much. And if your color is inverted, just go to levels and click on invert, but mine is good. So let's see, maybe you're going to 0.05, so it's not too much popping out, because we are going to add another fill layer with another height, and height is, as I said, additive to the other layers. Good. We have our fill layer. We have now to add a filter, so we can blur these edges a little bit out. So add a blur filter. So it's way too much. Maybe 0.1. It's too much. So let's try 0.05, and I think we are good, or 0.03. So if you have a little bit of this blurring going on. Now we have to add another fill layer and do the same thing. So add fill, add the anchor point and the fill layer to add a little bit more of the height. And in here, the only thing we are going to do is set this to multiply. So we're going to add them and not replace it with the other layers. And as you can see, we have a little bit more of detail going in here. If you want to, you can just clamp it a little bit more, but we are going to do that later on. So I think we're good now with that area. So I want a little bit more of some cracks in here. So you will see what I mean. To add some cracks here, we are going just to add another fill layer. I'm going to call this cracks outside. Alright, in here we need only our height information, so just deselect the rest. And for the height information, just go slightly up. 0.2, for example. Add a black mask. In the black mask you can add some sort of cracks. A good map that you can use is called Marble Fine. And as you can see here, we have this white spots, these cracks here, that is really cool to add on that, but it's a little bit too much, so we are going just to play a little bit with the settings. So first of all, just go up with tiling, maybe by 10. So we have a lot of cracks in here. So the second thing is we can go up with the balance. And as you can see, if you go up with the balance, it's going to be more strong on that. So it's popping more out. Let's see what's doing with the disorder. That's also cool. Here you can change the variation and the marbling effect in here. So I left it like that, but with the balance, it's a little bit too strong. So let's see if we just stay on 0.5. And we have to go down with our overall settings of the height here. So we have this slightly effect going on. But I just want some more cracks in here, some more veins. So I'm going just up with that. Maybe 30 or something like that. But you have to watch for repetition. So if it's going to repetize, you have to go down a little bit with that. As you can see, it's going to just copy over and over again. So yeah, we have to go down with the tiling. So we have this subtle detail in here. Perfect. So I just want some other cracks going on. So let's see, maybe if we go up to 0.2 and go down a little bit with the opacity of that. It's not really working on that slider, so let's see if it's working on that. Yeah, it's working on that. Perfect. Alright, so it's not too much popping out. Just a slight detail in here. So I just want the same thing for some cracks inside. So I'm going to copy this layer and the copy I'm going to call inside. And in here we have just to do two things. So the first thing is we have to add on here another fill layer. And on the fill layer we have to add on the grayscale our anchor point. And on this fill layer we have just to set the blending mode to subtract. So it's not going to be on this layer, but as you can see on the rest of that. So we have to add on cracks outside another fill layer because we have just to ensure that it's not going to be on our veins in here, on our peeling effect. So I'm going to add this and subtract, and we are good. So we have to go up with that. Oh, I just inverted that now, so I'm going back with that, and we have just to go to the fill layer and to invert, so we are back on the color, and that's the area just we want to be. Alright, we have this cracks here, and on both we can just add, so let's do on cracks outside, we can just add another filter. So we can crank this a little bit more. So I'm going to drag them down. So on the filter we are going to add a high pass. And on the material slot up here, we have just to go to mask, so we see what's doing. As you can see, if I just play a little bit with the settings, it's doing in here something, but we need to crank them a little bit. So I'm going to add some levels to crank that a little bit on the sides up. So like that. Now we have just to find the right spot. Alright, go back to the radius, and as you can see, you can just play a little bit with that. But it's way too much, so we are going down with the height of that. Alright, so the same thing we have to do here, so we can just copy these two layers and just paste it in here, but the fill layer with the anchor point has to be on top. And we have just to change the parameter in here, so we are on the same area, but in here we have to be on the minus. So maybe a little bit more, so we have this detail going on, just slightly, and the same thing in here for the outside. So if you don't like this type of detail, you can always go in here and just delete them. Alright, so we have to add maybe a little bit of a color variation in here. So we have did earlier. So to do that, we have to add in here on top of all a fill layer. So for the fill layer, we need only our color and our height. So for the color, we need first of all the main color of that. So I'm going to just copy the value in here, and we have just to add the color in the new layer and adjust it slightly. So we have to add a black mask. On the black mask, add a fill layer. And in the fill layer, we have to reference our anchor point. So it's going to only on the color side. So we have now to add an high pass filter as earlier. So filter high pass, so we can crank this a little bit up, but we have just to add a level filter to do the same thing. So I'm going back to the mask, and now we see what we can do here, just to brighten a little bit on the side here. And we can go to the high pass and do the same thing like that. Perfect for now. So you see we have this slightly color variation on top of that, but I think it's a little bit too much, so we can just go to the opacity and change that a little bit more. Alright, let's see if we just select another color, maybe like that. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so now we can just change our complete stuff here. So first of all, I'm going to change the grunge paint peel. So I want it maybe a little bit bigger of that color going away. So let's leave it like that for now. Alright, so I'm going to add on top of all a folder, and the folder I'm going to call color peeling, so you can just separate them from the rest you're going to build up here. On top of all, I'm going to add a fill layer, and this fill layer I'm going to call dirt overall. And for this layer we need only our color and height. The color is going to be very dark, so like that. And the height would be maybe 0.1, just to see what's doing. And we can just add some dirt thing here, or maybe some dust. Let's see what we have here. Dust small. Let's add this dust small, and you see what's doing. So we have maybe to just play with the settings. Adding some pebbles in here, so you can go up with that, maybe like that, and down with the height a little bit. So we have some pebbles here. So for now I'm going to call this dirt. So maybe dirt spots. I'm going to call I'm going to copy that, and this one I'm going to call overall, so we can just add another one up here. So I'm going to delete that. Alright, I think we have it. We are good here. I think I'm going to change just a little bit more the color, so it's not too dark here. So maybe in some light gray. And the same thing on the other one. So let me check our reference. We have our color here. What we are going to do is now some black planks here, some dirt area. So we have to figure out how we can do that. So maybe we are going to add just a overall dirt layer on it. So let me see, I'm going to add a fill layer. This fill layer I'm going to call planks, dirt. Maybe planks, dirt, complete or something like that, so you know what's going on in here. And we need only our color, so deactivate the rest. And we are going just to do some black color in here. So now we have just to figure out how we can make the corner, so the edges here. So I'm going to add a black mask. In this black mask we're going to add a generator. And let's see which one we can use. Maybe some edge generator, metal edge, where maybe, let's try that. So we have now our dirt spots on the edge here, but we just want it inverted. So click on invert, and I don't want this wear level here maybe, so just go a little bit down with that. And I don't want it sharp on the edges, so just go a little bit down with the contrast. And you have your black spots in here. And now let's just check our reference pick. And we have our black areas just down here. So let's pick some. Let's pick some of that. So we need to, first of all, add a folder. I'm going to call this blanks dirt. So we can now just drag and drop it in here, and on this folder we can add a black mask. And on this black mask we can just choose our planks that we want to be on the black side. So maybe this whole thing down here all to the bottom. So we have here two on this side. Oh, maybe this one on the bottom. It's not like completely black. So we have here some. Dirt mud going on. All right. So we have our black spots in here. So you can play a little bit with the settings if you want to. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing for the mud. So I'm going to copy this layer here, just rename it to Planks Muddy. We're going to delete our metal edge wear, and we're going to add another one. So add generator, and this time we are going to add maybe the mask editor itself, so we can just play a little bit with that. But let me see what we can do. We need some curvature here. We have a smart mask we can use. So just type in dirt, and you have this ground dirt here. Just drag and drop it in the black mask. Alright, now we have just to see what's doing. So I'm going to deselect all the rest. So we see what's doing this mask. For now, this mask is just working on this area here. We want to work it from the bottom to the top.